Radio. This is AchieveRadio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AchieveRadio.
Hi, welcome to Achieve Holistic, Spiritual, and Self-Improvement Radio. I'm Anne-Marie O'Dell, and you are watching or listening to Tarot Joy. And whether you're here today or you are watching later in the archives, it makes no difference because the quality of the subject matter hopefully will resonate with you. You know, when I think about what comes first, the land or the house that the land went on, obviously the land was the first. And so when I think about all those little spirits that love their house so much and they die either taking care of their house or being able to give everything they have to their house in the very last moments. And that energy is there, and it is filling it like a safety deposit box in that house. And then somebody tears it down. What happens to the energy? Well, it probably goes back to the land. And so today's show is about how to make your spiritual footprint on the very land that your house may be on, or whatever area of land that you yourself love to be at most. The material that I am covering today is Hosta Magic and Mystical Gardens. I also want to tell you that I am a seasoned Master Tarot channel. I have been reading for Best Psychics Directory with Bob Olson's group since 2001, as well as Keen since 2001. And I read personally through my website, which is thecallingoflight.com, where you can get readings with me at 15 minutes for $30 or half an hour for $60. Schedule ahead and we will have your reading in the Hosta Magic and Mystical Gardens of my sanctuary here. In the 1990s is when I fell in love with hostas. At that time, I purchased a shady lot of land with really terrible grass. The house was awesome, had a little screened-in porch. And I thought, well, you know, there is no reason why I have to be stuck with all of this horrible, spindly grass. And I went out and I purchased hostas. Pretty soon, one thing led to another. I had an angel sculpture brought in. I created feng shui pathways between the hostas, around the angel sculpture. I had Buddhist wind chimes in harmonious tones, playing music. And I just felt so amazingly proud that I had created my own Shangri-La from absolute shade. My entire lane is canopied by trees, which I think is awesome, and it makes for a very nice, cool summer. I will admit, I was very jealous of my friends that had their beautiful, brilliant jewel tone flower beds. And we would go on garden tours. All of us were into spirit. But I did love walking through their gardens and seeing, and this was back, like I'm saying, back in the late 1990s and early 2000. And I would be awe-inspired by their amazing gardens and their pathways and the beautiful flowers waving in the wind. And then it came to my turn. And again, this is the late 1990s and early 2000. And at that time, hostas in my area were not perhaps as much a passion as they are now. And people would walk through the pathways and they would look for the colorful flowers. And of course, there were none, nor was there any spindly grass. But there was energy, and they felt that energy. And there was a feeling of cool, restful Hosta paradise. So lo and behold, about 8 years later, Hosta madness took over America. And this gave me the confidence to invest in specimen hostas. Let me tell you, some of those hostas can go up to $150, $200, depending on how huge you want to get. There are some that come up to my waist. But I usually wait until the offspring of the $200 specimen plants have grown up and they go for much cheaper. But right now, giant hostas encircle my house and my studio, all shades, all sizes, all textures. And I live in what I feel is garden magic. Now, perhaps you wonder what garden magic is. There is magical gardening all around the world. How so? Well, people tend to gardens in different ways. Someone living on a large family farm plants their crops differently than someone on a half-acre lot in the suburbs. A resident of a big city in an advanced nation will grow things in a different fashion than a family living in an impoverished third world country. And while one person might use a large tractor and motorized equipment, and let me tell you, here in Iowa, we have combines that are the size of Star Trek machines. When you're driving by, the top of my Jeep does not even touch the base of those vehicles. So, still another might use a pointed stick to make a hole in the ground. And since time began, the human race has managed to find ways to make things grow where before there was nothing, kind of like me and my spindly little grass. So in the early spring, many of us who follow earth-based spiritual paths begin planning our gardens, and you know who you are. Some of those people are getting magazines by the middle of winter, and there are also those of us that are looking for those seeds, those heritage seeds. But there is a ritual and a magical act in itself to cultivate something in black soil, to see it sprout and then bloom, and to watch a magical working unfold before your very eyes. The plant cycle is intrinsically tied to so many earth-based belief systems that it should come as no surprise that the magic of the garden is one well worth looking into. So many gardeners swear by the idea of planting by the phase of the moon. The first quarter is when they plant crops, which bloom above ground, spinach and lettuce, cucumbers and corn. And then that leads up to the full moon, the time to plant above ground seed crops like beans and watermelons and squash and tomatoes. So during the third quarter, the week is followed by the full moon. Root vegetables like carrots and potatoes should go in as well. Well, how does this have anything to do with magic? Medieval English folklore says that if you plant daisies, they will help keep the fairies out of your yard. Now, that is one that surprises me because I always loved daisies and I thought they would invite the fairies. Nope. The medieval English folklore says no. Plant daisies and the fairies stay out of your yard. And once they've bloomed, make a daisy chain for a child to keep the fae from leaving a changeling in the child's place. I guess that would have to do with imposter children that may be something that the bad fairies are leaving. Certain tubers, such as yams, are believed to increase lust and fertility. And in some West African nations, the white yam has been linked to high birth rates, particularly that of multiples such as twins. How about that? If you're planting blackberries, roses, or some other brambly, thorny bush, train them over an arch in your garden. In Restoration era England, it was believed that walking through a brambly arch would cure any ailment, any sickness that you have. Now, in South Carolina's low country, the area's rich heritage has shaped many people's planting traditions, and women who are menstruating are not permitted to harvest okra because it might spoil when they put it up for canning. Also, pickles won't be crunchy if canned by a woman having her period. Mustard, collard, and other greens planted near your bedroom window will help prevent conception of a child, which I'm not sure I would have trusted that, but the color blue keeps evil spirits away. So plant lots of blue flowers near your front door. Now, some Native American tribes planted beans, squash, and corn in an arrangement known as Three Sisters. In addition to being a self-sustaining ecosystem, excuse me, in which each plant helps the others. And many of you who do planting and gardening know that as companion gardening. One plant helps the other, and the planting of this trio is associated also with the concept of happy families, abundance, and community. So those are just some of the things that we may think about as we talk about magical gardening, mystical gardening. I'm going to take a few readings. And then, again, if you would like to have a phone reading, call 602-666-6027, or you can Inquick us. We have Sophie from Kansas, Patrick from Pennsylvania, Sarah from Oklahoma, and we also have, I think we have room for one more down here. Nope, Sarah's from Oklahoma. Again, if you are looking for a reading and you want it by voice, again, call 602-666-6027. Let's start with Sophie. Sophie, hello, I am looking to move in mid-August. Can you see what the cards say about this? Thank you. All right, Sophie, so I'm going to do kind of a 3-month reading on your move in mid-August. And I say 3 months because sometimes, it can be a little different than we thought. So I'm going to start with August, which is seen as the month of ambition. Ambition. And what that means is that in August, you're going to be highly motivated and to get that moving done. Now, what I get for September is the card of receptiveness, but it's upside down, which reverses it. And what does that mean? Well, if you have not moved in August and you're still making plans and feeling like you're in suspended animation, it could mean that receptiveness upside down means that you're not getting that the ducks in line like you had kind of anticipated. And if we look at one more month and we're looking at, so we have August, September, and this is October. Now, October is the month of worthiness, self-confidence. And ordinarily that would mean that you feel pretty darn good and that everything's going into line to achieve your dreams. But it's upside down, which means that we have September and October where things, let me put it this way, if you are in the area that you want in August, expect some dead time in September and October. And if you are looking at moving at the proper time, what comes up is, and it may not seem so, but November. November is the month of security, and that says that's the month that all your money and is great in the bank account, is full. So actually, I know you're looking at mid-August, but I have November, and I also have December as the month of gratitude. So December also looks wonderful for that move. So if you're putting it all together, the common denominator of this reading, Sophie, is that you can choose to move early in mid-August, but don't be surprised if you're sitting like a lump in September and October. However, if you're looking for the months that rock for moving for you, it's October and November. And that's what I have, Sophie. All right, we have Patrick from Pennsylvania. And Patrick says, I am about to converse with my estranged mom. Is this going to go smoothly? Gee, I wish you would have given me her name, but I guess Mom is just as good, Patrick. What I have on the energy coming forth on your mom, and looking at that, it says, well, that is great. Good news. You are going to have a grounded and wonderful conversation with your mom. Not only that, you will walk away feeling as if she has been very generous, so have you. You both have been sharing a lot of open thoughts, and basically what it's going to do, this wonderful conversation with your mom, is give you both something to focus on, brand new, that will be able to let you have a new chapter in your relationship. So that's what I have, Patrick. And yes, it will go smoothly for you. And we have Sarah. Sarah, excuse me, Sarah is from Oklahoma. And she says, hi, can I have an organic reading? Sure, Sarah, and I'd love to give you an organic reading, and I'm going to give you a general. So Sarah, who is from Oklahoma, this is what comes through in your reading. The first thing that comes through says physically, you have been feeling anxious or you have been having some challenges that you want to take care of, whether that is your health, your weight, or whether that is a sense of your just feeling physically out of it a little bit. It says that may be happening right now. But it says persevere, stick to it. There is a sense that in the coming weeks, and not months, weeks and days, weeks, that you are going to have to stay strong to a goal that you had, whether it's about diet or weight or whether it's about a plan that you had, Sarah. Stay with it. Stick to your goal. Your reading shows that you are an incredibly strong woman. It also says that in the past you were hanging on to what was secure, but you really had a hard time finding that you felt at home. It was like you couldn't get rid of that nagging feeling that somehow something or someone was waiting for you in the future. Your reading shows that there is someone or something coming back to you in the future. Now, I don't know if this has to do with family, an old love, or what it is, but you want to be sure that it does not have to do with hanging on to what's secure and settling for less. That would not be what you want it to be. Your reading says that this is a good year for you to have creative, new beginnings. So if you feel kind of physically out of it, or as if your guides and angels are ringing your bells and making you feel like there's something not quite right, I would say don't stress about it, but do not settle for less either. They may be giving you a little bit of the kick in the butt, saying, Sarah, we need you to pay attention to your path in the future. This is not you. You should not settle for less. When I look at what is it that you don't want, you're tired of being tired. You're tired of being unhappy. And there is a sense that you need to be able to pay attention to what's making you feel tired. Is it your diet? Is it your body weight? Or is it that you're just kind of in a limbo and settling for less? The most important thing you can do is try to, as you said, as the reading said, if you have a goal, stick with it. It's going to make you feel excited. It's going to make you feel proud. And it's going to take away that energy of tiredness. Your reading says that one of the things that you're tired of is selfish people. And I think that maybe if you feel that in some way, emotionally, empathically, that you are taking on the emotions of the family or the friends or the people at work around you, and it's making you feel exhausted or tired, and you're going home and you're eating like crap, and you're not taking care of yourself. Those are all the things that you need very badly to change. Your reading says that what you want is to be strong and have a strong partner beside you that will recognize all of your blessings, your gifts, and be supportive and stand beside you. Now, sometimes this partner doesn't have to be romantic. It can be a job. It can also be just knowing that somebody who is male in your life, who is a guy, somebody that you maybe care about, or maybe a father that you care about. You just want to see somebody step up and start taking the heavy load off your shoulders and taking more responsibility. Lastly, your reading says, not only is something coming back in your life, but I believe that you are going to see communication from somebody that you have not heard from in quite a while. If I look at anything else that you need to pay attention to, and please know again, this is a good time for callers. If you want to call in and get a one-to-one reading with me, the number to call is 602-666-6027. All right, so let's look at Sarah one more time. An organic reading on Sarah. Where is her energy? And then a life path reading. Sarah's energy, well, it says kind of like your other reading, you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And this is the person that's racing into the goals, but it's upside down, which indicates you're ready to get off the horse. You're ready to stop trying so darn hard. You're ready for someone else to take the slack and help you out. So your energy is saying, less is more, Sarah. Stop feeling like you're the be-all, end-all, that only you can fix things and do all the work right. If you're doing this at a job, and this goes for many people when they're working in a job environment, if you are the kind of person that is doing way more than you have to, and then upset because people are not chipping in their energy to help you out, well, please understand, you just trained everybody that they're not good enough, and you're going to take the slack and the load so that it can be done right. Your reading says the most important thing that you can do is just less is more, don't overdo, and realize that at this particular time, you are a wonderful person, and you just need to take action on the things that you want so that you physically do not make yourself sick trying to do too much. Now, this is the fun one. I call this a life path reading. And one of the things that you may want to do is, I always call this kind of like I Ching. I Ching is when you flip some sticks in the air and then the way they falls into a pattern in which you feel as if you are seeing your life path, and there's a certain pattern for each life path. Well, this is more like tarot life path. So I'm going to say your name, Sarah, and Sarah, and Sarah. And what comes up for Sarah on her life path says the following. This is the month, or this is the year of the giveaway. Now, what does that mean? I will look that up and I will read that. But to me, it's a giveaway. It shows a fairy and she's lifting her arms up to the heavens and she's giving something away. What did we just read on? It said you need to give less attention to trying to do everything and give some of the responsibilities to others. That would be, to me, the giveaway that you need to address. But I will definitely look at that and what comes up on the giveaway. I'm looking at the number 23. And do know that this is a wonderful, wonderful tarot deck, everybody. I just love it. I didn't know if I would. And it's called Mystical Shaman Oracle. And it sounds scary kind of, but it is so common sense, and it's so inspiring. So I really recommend it. It's illustrated, and these are all names from Latino names, I believe. I can't really pronounce them, but look up Mystical Shaman Oracle Deck and Guidebook. Okay, I'm going, Russ and Chris, hello, in the call room. I will get you in just a second. I am going to do the giveaway for Sarah, which is 23. And here's what it says, Sarah. The essence is the gift you offer to life, without attachment, without expecting anything back. You can only give what is truly yours: a smile, a nod of encouragement, a gentle touch, and a kind word. Make a list of 10 people and things for which you are grateful. Connect with the feeling of gratitude instead of anger and feeling ripped off because you're doing everything. The giveaway comes to ask you to feel the same gratitude without needing anything or anyone to inspire it. It is difficult for you to get limits on how much of yourself you give, but if you give more than you need to, then you will not have anything to give away. You won't have a smile. You certainly won't have a compassionate heart. You'll just feel angry. Well, it looks like we lost somebody in the call room, but I'm going to, I think Russ was in the room. Russ, if you want to come back, I sure will get to you. And I'm going to take Chris. Hey, Chris, how are you today?
I'm doing fine.
Good. What's going on, Chris?
Watching the TV.
Watching TV. Good. Yeah. All right. Well, I am going to give you an angel message reading, all right? Is that okay? All right. So let's look at what is it that you, say your name. Say your name. Just say your name. And I'm going to have you say it one more. Okay, that's good. That's good there. Okay, Chris, here's your angel message reading. Your angel message reading says for you to be courageous and strong. Do not fear rejection. Do not let it stop you from doing things that you really want to do. Do not let anybody put you down. Walk courageously with your head up. One of your gifts is what a grounded soul you are. You are very centered, and you pretty much keep your cool, despite sometimes how emotionally upset you get. You keep your cool. You are a very kind person, Chris. You're very generous. And if you have something that you can share, you will do so. That's part of who you are. Your reading says also that you have laser focus. If you've got something on your mind and you are determined to make it happen, by gosh, you're going to do it. That's because when you're focused, you can become very stubborn, but in a good way. And lastly, it says, and we always get this on you, you're psychic. Your intuition is one of your gifts. And so if you feel like you sometimes feel the energy of people and places and jobs around you, you would be right. You are feeling them because those were gifts that you were born with. Okay?
I hear you. I hear you.
You're
I
welcome.
hear you. Have
Good.
a nice day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Chris. All right. If you would like an angel reading, you call 602-666-6027, and I will certainly give you one. I'm going to go to the subject matter that I first started with, which is 9 ideas for having magic with your garden. Now, there are different ways. The garden can be one of the most magical places in your life. So, as I said before, you can make your magical footprint or your spiritual footprint in your garden, and it will resonate with your energy just as much as you contribute to it. You can do it with specialty gardens, herb plots, and more. Learn about garden folklore and magic. Kids love fairy gardens. So in the early spring, those of you that maybe love to take kids out on pathways, help them plan a garden for the coming season. The plant cycle is based on a lot of the same things that Native Americans, pagans, and many of the earth-based religions honored. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that you are somebody that is worth looking into. So look at some of the folklore storybooks with your kids. Look at some of the fairy books with your kids. Observe the flowers. And then go outside and plant your own fairy garden. You can do this in a pot, a big round pot, and get little fairy statues and fairy chairs and little buildings and castles, and create your own fences and stairs and make it a really amazing magical moment for your little one. How about plant a magical moon garden? This is what I did this year. Everything I planted with my hostas is white, so it all glows in the dark. Many pagans love to garden, but a lot of people don't realize you can grow plants and flowers that bloom at night. Cultivating a moon garden is a great way to get in touch with nature, and it provides a beautiful and fragrant backdrop for your moonlight walks in the summer. If you plant these lovely flowers close to your house or near your bedroom window, take advantage of the incredible aromas as you sleep or make love or as you walk amongst them. Plant an elemental garden. If you're someone that's based on an earth-based religion, such as Native American, pagan, Wiccan, and you're into gardening, you might want to consider planting an elemental garden. The 4 classical elements are often associated with spirituality, so why not incorporate them into your garden? Summer is a great time to work on your garden. So if you haven't gotten out there digging in the dirt yet, now's your chance. The sun is at its peak. The earth is nice and warm, and plants are growing all around. Move some of your existing plants or put some new ones and create an elemental garden. By connecting different parts of your garden with the 4 elements, you can add a little bit of magic into your life each year. In my case, I planted a Native American medicine circle, and I have poles on the north, south, east, and west. And I have clematis climbing up the poles with pathways going north, south, east, and west. Now, some of my Christian friends tell me that it's a cross. To them, it is. To those that are into earth-based religion, it is definitely more about the elements of north, south, east, and west. Plant a goddess garden. Plants and magic have been associated for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So when spring rolls around or you're planning your seasonal garden, set up a special area to dedicate to the goddess or saints of your tradition. My studio gardens are all around a 5-foot concrete angel. And I have hostas all around her. I also have white moonflowers that glow in the dark. And it is very, very feminine based gardening, very goddess garden type. As spring arrives or summer arrives, our gardens begin to bud and eventually bloom for hundreds of years. The plants that we grow have been used in magic. Flowers in particular are often connected with a variety of magical uses. Now, and those blossoms are blooming, keep an eye out for some of these flowers around you and consider the different magical applications they might have. Learn about herbs. So you've decided you're ready to do an herb garden, which is, boy, how many thousands of years were herbs used in medicine and in magic? But you're not sure which herbs are the best ones to use. Use a list as a reference point to determine which herbs, plants, and flowers are the best choices for your purposes. Be sure to visit the Magical Herb Gallery for images of many herbs used in magic. Wildcraft herbs are, in addition to growing your own magical herbs in your garden, in many areas you can harvest herbs from their natural environment. What did Native Americans do? Or the herbalists do? Or the craggy old lady on the edge of town that people came to for potions? This is known as wildcrafting and is becoming a very popular pastime. So if you're one of the many earth-based religions who enjoys working with herbs, you may want to look into wildcrafting. However, much like any other natural resource, herbs must be harvested responsibly. Otherwise, a once plentiful plant can quickly end up an endangered species. So wildcrafting maybe should be done for your own, usage, and not so much for selling mass, which, that's the way to be an ethical herbalist, an ethical wildcrafter. So many of my friends are starting to go into bee gardens that are, helping the extermination of the bees. They're helping to bring them back, giving them something to pollinate. And this can also be done with wild birds in your yard, with seeds and pods. So just remember, you can have the most amazing spiritual gardens by just sticking to your plan of, you will not only, I call it the Church of the Garden. The Church of the Garden is when it's like you go into a meditation. You're zoning into all of the beauty around you. Hey, Russ from Ohio. Hello, buddy. What can we read on for you? Hey, Russ.
Hello there. Hello there. Another
Hey.
wonderful evening.
Thanks.
So,
You kind of
yeah,
disappeared there.
yeah. This is when I was at the library first time, and then in the public spot, and then you don't want to disturb the people in the library. So now I'm home. So.
Oh, okay. What can I do for you, buddy?
So, yeah, I did that job I inquired about last week. I did turn down because I was thinking about it because I would have been going from first shift to third shift. Even though it was like $1 an hour more, I would have had to lose some hours at the station because I got a second job at a gas station, and I would have had to lose a lot of hours there. So in reality, I would have lost money.
Are you staying with your present job then?
Right, the current two. So
yeah, because I think that's what. I'm sorry.
Because I was kind of hoping maybe something first shift would have been, something a better first shift would have come along.
Right.
So I decided to stick around, in the current spot.
Right. Do you want me to look at that for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So say your first name.
Russ.
And then the initials of the place that you work at.
MGM.
Okay. So when I look at your where you're working at this particular time, I don't know if you feel that you are, but it says that you are greatly respected. And it says
I don't really feel like I am.
Well, you don't feel like you are, and that is seen because you're not getting any opportunities, which to you is saying stagnation. It's upside down. And it says you feel as if you're not getting any support, which is also upside down. So because you feel like you're stagnant and not getting the support that you want, the hell with whether you're respected or not. What good does it do you, in all honesty, if you're not climbing or growing? So if I look at, and your question was what again now?
If something better is, whether in the company I'm at or someplace is coming soon.
So within the company you're at, will something better come along? And if I look at that, it shows, well, I'm not sure soon is the word. I would say that I'm looking at the end of 2019. It says July is seen as the time where you need to hang in there and be patient. August is seen as a month where your feet are getting very antsy and you're wanting to just run down the road, but it's telling you not to. September is still the month where you're not feeling like that wonder job is stepping forth. And October, it says the crisis is over. Someone is listening. With November seen as you moving away from your present environment, and December as the month where balance and a feeling of completion come into your life. So goodbye to the stagnation, goodbye to the lack of opportunity. But it's not coming real soon.
So just be patient.
Just be patient, Russ. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Do you want me to look at a life path reading for you?
Oh, that would be nice too.
Okay, so this is where the pathway for you in 2000 out of the next 12 months. Say your first name.
Russ.
Okay, and one more time.
Russ.
Thank you. So Russ, when I look at the path for you in 2019, what comes through? I don't know what this means, but it's the corn, which it's very tall, almost like Jack and the Beanstalk tall corn. Now, if I look at what does that mean in the Native American sense of these cards, and looking at that, and that's seen as number 10. Okay, it says the corn, it says represents the mother of substance and tangible abundance coming into your year. This symbol represents material prosperity in the world of form that provides stability and substance to many. There is more than enough for you in 2020. You planted a beautiful field of dreams, and now you are just trying to manifest it. Even in moments when you feel you're losing faith, you continue to manifest. Now the spirit of the corn comes to honor this and show you a bountiful harvest for the next 12 months. Beware of shortcuts to your dreams. In other words, don't run pell-mell down the road to a dream job that isn't a dream job. For a fast track being offered to you, be especially mindful of your feelings of entitlement or an expectation to get something for nothing. This is a time for gratitude, perseverance, and humility, but the corn does represent stuffed substance and tangible abundance for the next 12 months. And that's what I have for you.
Oh, it sounds good. So just be patient and just keep plugging away. And
That's right. And don't go running pell-mell down the road to the first thing that comes up. Okay?
yeah, which I have the feeling this one that turned on probably would have been. So
I think it would have been too. I think so too.
that was good. Yeah,
All right.
I would have considered it first. But thanks.
Yeah. Well, your intuition took care of you, and sometimes things happen for a reason, and it was a closed door you weren't supposed to open. So that's all there is to it. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for stopping in today. Again, if you wish to have a personal reading with me, please go to thecallingoflight.com. And you can find options of a 15-minute reading for 30 or a half hour for 60. Or there is an Etsy link. If you don't like using PayPal, you can use your credit card at Etsy. So be mindful of the outdoors. Plant a seed or a pathway. And remember, your footprint in the soil around you is your essence of who you are. Leave it and grow. Bye-bye.